Yes, yes, yes. What is good, my people? Welcome back to Computer Music Academy's weekly homework podcast. I am your host, Taurus Beats. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. And you are listening to my voice as it is. A lot of people know what's been going on with me. I've been very ill over the last few weeks. And it's been rough, needless to say. It's been very rough, but actually my health is improving. I'm getting a little stronger. I'm just not able to actually sit in front of a camera as of yet. I promise you that this podcast is probably going to have a couple of edits. So sitting in front of a camera for the long form as I normally do, and it's just not going to be feasible at this time. But I'm very happy that I'm strong enough to at least sit in front of this mic and kick it with you. And listen to some damn beats, man. Get some change in my life, some normalcy. Go back to the way it used to be. But anyhow, before we go any further, shout out to everybody that's listening. Shout out to everybody that's watching the video form of this podcast. More importantly, shout out to all my family at CMA who have come through with a lot of support, a lot of prayers, some good contributions. And definitely got to give it up to my people's Mr. Wallace and Mike Notes and Quentin Baird, who actually took the helm last week. They did an excellent job. Be sure to check them out at pickandrollpodcast.com. They do their thing every week. Mine is Mike Notes, but he is part of the crew. But yeah, I had a lot of fun listening to these beats over the last couple of weeks. I really enjoyed that last podcast. So again, shout out to them. And here we are, week number 81. And it's crazy because I gave this assignment as I was going to the hospital. You know, business still has to continue. Show has to go on. But what this assignment is this week is orchestral music, orchestral/symphonic music. You know, we've actually done this before. I believe it was in year 1. We didn't do it in year 2, but it's some of my favorite music of all time. Nothing brings back more memories of me being a child than when I kick on the classical station and I'm just like, oh, listen to this stuff, man. You know, going down to Ford Auditorium down here in Detroit. And just enjoying the symphony, the Detroit Symphony, who later moved over to their own symphony hall right now over in Woodward. But anyhow, I love orchestra music. And orchestra music by itself is awesome. But when you integrate it into whatever genre you create, it turns into something incredible. And we actually have 6 submissions this week that I'm very eager to get to. Starting off with my man JSP8. Let's get it in. JSPH, one of our newer members over there at CMA. And I got to give this dude massive props. JSP has only been working on beats for a very short time. You know, we talk on occasion. And I remember him telling me when he first came in, yeah, I really don't know. I'm not confident. I'm blah, blah, blah. He's really not confident in his beat making ability. And I totally understand because he's very brand new to this, very brand new. But when you listen to what this dude is doing, and I'm going, if I had to put a tag or an amount of time that this dude has been working on beats, I'm going to say less than a year. Listen to what he's doing. Listen very close. Listen to all of his submissions this year, because he's been on just about every podcast so far. This dude is doing some incredible work. He knows how to structure a song. He may not know, he may not be classically trained. He may not know music theory and stuff like that, but listen to how he puts his music together, especially this with all the orchestral stuff, the strings, and then he brought in the drums and he had a couple of change ups. He had a breakdown. I mean, this dude is pretty nasty. JSP, dude, you have nothing to worry about. You should have a decent amount of confidence now. And I'm pretty sure everybody else in the crew is going to let you know you are bringing it, sir. Seriously. So thank you for that submission. That was great. The one thing I did enjoy everything about that, but I kind of wonder how that would have sounded with either some like really hard drums on top of the acoustic drums that you had, some really hard like hip hop or electronic or whatever type drums, or maybe even some break drums to fill those acoustic drums out. And I know those are mostly orchestral drums that you used, but man, that submission was dope. Thank you, sir. All right, moving right along to our man down in Tampa, Florida, Gold 007. Let's get it in. That's my guy right there. Holy crap. Go 007 does it again. Oh boy. Remember when I said, do what you do and integrate the orchestra stuff into what you do? That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's a gold 007 beat. And might I say, one of his best beats that he's done in the couple years that he's been with us now. But the integration of all of the strings and the plucks and a little bit of the orchestral percussion. Holy crap, dude. That just, I can imagine how that song would have sounded without it. And then you put all of that in there and it just raises it up so much higher. Damn, Gold. You trying to get me to jump up and start dancing or something over here, man. It's not going to happen. Man. That was beautiful. Thank you, Bill. Holy crap. All right. Going a little north. We're going to see our man, DJ Locturnal. Let's see what he's doing. Charleston, South Carolina. DJ Locturnal. The hell is wrong with you, dude? Yo, first off, before anybody trips, I did say you can create, as in play out your own orchestral music, or you can sample. And he went the sample route, obviously. And that was a nice track. Holy crap, dude. That was very nice. Locke, he's one of them dudes, man. He is one of those dudes that I would relate him to JSP, even though I know he has a little bit more time than JSP. But he's one of those dudes that has picked up so quickly from being in the community, from just putting a lot of stuff to practice, actually practicing, and you can tell, you know what I'm saying? That's a huge part of this. You can come in and watch videos and read books and sit in a class all day long, but if you don't actually sit down and actually practice this stuff and try to apply what you've learned, it's pointless. You're wasting your investment in whatever school or community or website that you are a part of. Locke is one of those dudes. He's getting a return on his investment, and he's going to do very well as time goes on. And to kind of take things to a conversation that myself and Mr. Wallace would have, we talk pretty frequently. There is a time period in hip hop, like late 90s, early late 90s, where it was nothing but hard hip hop beats with orchestral music. That joint right there fits perfectly, not only in that time frame, but today. I can see somebody ripping that today. Love the piano sample, love the strings he came in with later. He even had a little synth breakdown at one point. Sean Whitlock is a beast. That's all I gotta say. Thank you, Locke. All right, the hits just keep on coming. Going to our guy, and my apologies for not giving him props at the top of the show. My man Taurus Beats contributed the intro for a couple of weeks. But now he's actually playing his submission, or we're playing his submission. So let's see what he's doing. Never disappoints. Taurus Beats does it again. Now, if you're a fan of this podcast, you already know that Taurus has a nice amount of cinematics to his beat to begin with. Dude, I know he's not classically trained, but he has trained himself over the years to actually play, as if he is. And you hear all of that in his music. Every time he turns in a submission, or if you ever go to his website, you hear all of that stuff, all of that great instrumentation in his music. He's excellent at flipping samples as well. But what his strong point to me is when this dude is on those keys playing out those instruments. That instrumentation is nasty. Now, like I said, he already has a nice amount of cinematics or orchestral or symphonic elements to his music, depending on the beat. But that damn flute, dude. Oh man, that's childhood right there. That almost took me back to playing like a Legend of Zelda or something. That's how dope that flute was. As if, who's a flautist? I can't think of anybody, a famous flautist off the top. But man, as if whoever, he actually hired somebody to sit in the studio while he played and recorded it. That's how dope that stuff is. The entire joint is just, as it always is. But that flute, that set it off, man. You are a genius. Man. Thank you. All right, moving up to Detroit. My man, your man, dude that has been shutting down the podcast every time since, it's been about a year now. My man, Mr. Wallace. Let's see what he's doing.
Science couldn't explain it, but there it was, alive in the deep, deep waters, a throwback to a creature that had existed 100 million years ago, immensely strong and destructive. See underwater thrills never photographed before. See Titanic underwater battles never dreamed of before, in this most terrifying of the science fiction adventures.
Fantastic, but I tell you it could happen.
Jeez. Vintage Mr. Wallace representing Double Negative. Holy crap, dude. That dude knows how to put on a performance when it comes to making these beats. Jeez, man. That was insane. Sampled an old movie. I'm gonna assume 40s, 50s, somewhere in that area. Maybe 60s, but man, love that. And I'm assuming that the majority of the orchestra samples came from that. But then you put his elements into it with his his clap snares and his kicks and his hats. And then the bass kicks in. That bass matched up to that sample so nasty. It was low and it was gritty and it was bumping. Man. And I was a little, I'm going to be very honest, and I was slightly worried that he was actually going to leave it as is. But then you had the breakdown with the little speech from the movie. And then that, I guess you could say that last third where it came in, it had more horns and some strings on top of everything that he already had. And, you know, something like QB, Quentin Barrett, shout out to him, was saying last week in the podcast where how many damn levels can you get? You know, how many elements can you get in one track without overloading it? And it all matches. It all fits. Nothing is stepping over on anything. And somehow Wallace does it every freaking time. My man, way to rip on that one, dude. Way to rip. And speaking of double negative, closing out the podcast is the gentleman who's Wallace's partner, but he has been contributing some of the sickest grooves this year. I've listened to, 3 or 4 so far in 2015, and each one is just mind-bogglingly, however you want to say, good. It is just damn good. The one he did a couple of weeks ago for the season premiere with the Ric Flair. The one he did last week for the James Brown joint. The one he did for the Dilla joint. So, needless to say, I'm very eager to hear what he did with some orchestral music. So, closing out the podcast this week is my man, Mike Notes. Let's get it in.
Double negative. Double negative.
Wow. My man Mike Notes closing out week number 81 of the weekly homework assignment / podcast. That was dope, man. If you say anything about Mike Notes, you have to agree. It has to be a unanimous vote that dude is anything but normal, anything but typical, anything but standard on his production. Nothing he does sounds like anything that I've heard from anyone else. And that is a beautiful thing. This dude's timing on his beats, the looseness, but everything still hits. Oh my God, dude. Notes, what are you doing, man? And whatever you're doing, I'm glad you're doing it here, because you're definitely adding to the gumbo that is the community over at CMA, and especially what we do on the podcast. Holy crap. There was nothing about that beat that I did not like. Nothing. The only thing I would say is drums needed to hit it just a little bit harder, but it still fit for what he did with that sample, with the different chops and the change ups. And the drums he used actually fit really perfect. I just wish they hit just a little bit harder. But man, you guys are killing it. And I am incredibly proud of you. For real. Shout out to Mike Notes, Mr. Wallace, Taurus Beats, DJ Locturnal, Gold 007, and JSP8. And thank you, the listener, the viewer, the supporter, the person who is here with us every single week. And thank you everybody who has been sending prayers, leaving comments, sending a lot of love. We did have a GoFundMe campaign that my wife set up to help us out with medical bills for everybody that contributed to that and who shared that. Depending on the time, you can still find it on YouTube, but we won't keep it up too much longer. But if you would like to support what we're doing over here at CMA, it's very simple. You come over and join us, be a part of the community, come over and take part of the services as far as tutoring or, 1-day classes. You can buy some of the products that we offer at the store, or just simply donate if you want to. It's all good. But I definitely appreciate all the love. I appreciate you guys holding me up over these last few weeks. It's been crazy. And I still got a long way to go. I'm getting stronger every day. You know, my voice isn't what it should be at the moment, but I'm getting stronger every day. I'm feeling better. I'm getting better. Still got a long way to go, but I definitely appreciate all the love. Trust me, I am eternally grateful for everybody who has come through and showed me some love in some way, form, or fashion. I definitely appreciate it. With that said, there is a lot more that's getting ready to happen. We're going to continue the podcast, probably continue in this form for a while, because like I said, I can't perform in front of a camera, not long form. But continue doing the podcast. Definitely going to continue kicking out new content as far as, free tutorials, exclusive tutorials, reviews, and stuff like that. And eventually we'll get back to doing another round of the Bang Show. So it's going to be a good year. I've had some things in my way, but I'm still here. I still got a heartbeat. I can still move. I can still walk and talk. So as long as that's happening, I'm going to continue to work. So with that said, again, thank all of you for being a part of what we do here. If you would like to join us, come on over to computermusicacademy.com. It's that simple. On that note, I'm done, and I will talk to you next time. See ya.